So, did you make any New Year's resolutions? More to the point, did you keep them? Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to January, the month of fresh starts, renewed motivation, and the age-old tradition of setting New Year's resolutions. Gyms are bustling, salad bars are thriving, self-help book sales are through the roof, and everyone's just generally trying to be the best version of themselves. And yet, research shows that by February, over 80% of resolutions have failed or been abandoned. And the small, annoying scientist inside of me wanted to know why. Why is it that we keep making promises to ourselves in January that inevitably fail before the end of the month? Why do we make resolutions at all? And why do they keep failing? In order to figure out why it is that we even make resolutions and why they keep failing, I had to break it down. A 2023 Forbes health poll found that over 60% of people in the US feel pressured to commit to some kind of promise or New Year's resolution, of which nearly half committed to some type of fitness goal, with a further 30% focusing on mental health. But why do we do this? How did this all even start? Apparently, the Babylonians are to blame. During this time of year, ancient Babylonians would resolve or promise to pay off any outstanding debts in the coming year. This habit then got adopted by the Romans, who named the month January after the Roman god Janus, god of reflection and renewal. Very fitting for the theme. Fast forward, and medieval knights are renewing their peacock vows in January, but it's not until 1813 in a Boston newspaper article that we get our first glimpse into what resolutions look like now, and everything that goes along with that. And yet, I believe there are multitudes of people accustomed to receive injunction of New Year resolutions who will sin all the month of December with a serious determination of beginning the new year with new resolutions and new behavior, and with the full belief that they shall thus wipe away all of their former faults. Starting to sound familiar? These days, New Year's celebrations or goals are common in cultures all over the world. But I want to be clear on this. The distinctly hustle culture, rise and grind, strive for perfection type of New Year's resolutions, that's a specifically American construct. And it's one that's not necessarily helpful. The allure of a fresh start or blank slate can be incredibly powerful and can lead us into somewhat magical thinking. In this case, the idea that the promise that you set yourself at the beginning of the year can somehow fix all of your problems and make all of your dreams come true just by willing it into being. But that magic tends to fall apart when it meets reality. This type of magical thinking is actually the second biggest reason why resolutions fail in the first place. Setting incredibly challenging and ambitious goals, overestimating our ability to overcome obstacles, and underestimating the challenges that come with creating lasting change. We don't factor in the burnout or the illnesses or the energy required to carry through when that initial burst of enthusiasm gradually fades as reality sets in and our old habits prove more resilient than we thought. Micro habits. Yeah, resolutions tend to be big and flashy and often have huge time commitments, which isn't always realistic when you're trying to start out a habit or create some kind of change. So don't do that. Instead of promising yourself that you're going to spend 2 hours on Duolingo every day, just open the app. Inevitably, you're going to want to keep going because these apps are designed for gamification and they make your brain want to do the thing. So if the big task seems insurmountable and you can't even get started, start there. Just open the app. One micro habit that can make a difference in your year to come is clicking subscribe and ringing the bell. Yes, it's a shameless YouTube plug. I swear it's the last one. Probably. According to Psychology Today, the main reason why resolutions fail is known as the what the hell effect. This occurs when we perceive a tiny setback as full license to throw the baby out with the bathwater. In logical thinking or debate, it's also known as the all or nothing logical fallacy. The idea that if you can't be 100% perfect at something, why bother? And it's this type of thinking that leads to the idea that a single missed gym session or one indulgent little snack becomes an excuse to throw in the towel and abandon the entire plot, further perpetuating our expected cycle of failure.
That's my gym. And that's a monastery. Yeah, I don't get it either. Sweden's just weird.
So for the first time in a really long time, I have been going to the gym pretty consistently because I have given myself permission to half-ass it. 2 to 3 times a week, I will grab my gym bag, throw it over my shoulder, and walk down to the gym, even if I don't feel like it. And if I still don't feel like it by the time I get there, I give myself full permission to just pop on a pair of headsets, grab an elliptical, and watch an episode of whatever my new favorite show of the week is. Because I've allowed myself this break to not have to bust my butt every single time, I'm still going. And that satisfaction of showing up, even if you didn't want to, feels so much better than the guilt of not doing something because I know that I can't handle it that day. Give yourself permission to phone it in every once in a while. Showing up matters so much more than showing out in the long run. The extreme pressure to achieve absolute perfection in a relatively short amount of time often leads to disappointment and demotivation. So if you're probably going to fail anyways, you might as well plan for it. Okay, I get it. Setting out with the intention of failure might sound weird. Actually, no, it definitely sounds weird. But it can also lead to creating more lasting, long-term, healthy changes. Setting resolutions with the expectation of failure shifts our focus from perfection to progress.
Practice and practice and practice. Practice makes what? Perfect. Absolutely not. Dismantle that belief system. Practice makes improvement.
And research in psychology actually supports this theory. Being kind to oneself in the face of failure promotes resilience and perseverance. The acceptance of imperfection can actually lead to more long-term and sustainable growth and development.
Oh, I feel like Jell-O. But I feel productive, and all of my joints hurt. I am just now leaving the gym. The other reason why I've managed to stay consistent that just occurred to me is because I've been rewarding myself for showing up, not for results. So my dad's house is over 100 years old and has 100-year-old Swedish plumbing with an extremely limited supply of hot water. You can barely see my face. The point of which being that the gym has unlimited hot water. So I've been managed to drag my butt to the gym 2 to 3 times a week, whether I wanted to or not, partially on the promise that regardless of how intense a workout I have, I'm going to get to have a nice hot shower at the end of it. I've been rewarding myself for showing up. Not for results, not for progress, just for showing up. And you know what? It's been working.
So instead of focusing on resolutions and the idea of perfection, consider January your free trial period. A time for experimentation to test out new habits, try new routines, and quite frankly, see what sticks and what doesn't. Instead of resolutions, you can set weekly challenges or new habits with the anticipation that some of them just may not work. And that's okay. Next week, try a new one, fail a new one, learn what went wrong in the process, adjust, and try again. And if a particular habit doesn't work out, it's an opportunity to learn, to question the routine, to figure out what went wrong and why. Was the habit too time-consuming? Does it clash with your existing routines and lifestyle? Is the idea of a big goal too daunting and you're just getting stuck at the start period? Are there other barriers that are preventing that habit from sticking? All of these things can influence how likely a new habit is to stick, and most of them are outside of our control. Trying to rearrange your life as it is now to accommodate a habit for some mythological future you may be aspirational, but it's also not particularly sustainable, healthy, or realistic. Instead, it's better to work with the lives that we have now and try to find a way to incorporate change that can help us get to that future point without ignoring the fact that we still live now, not then. Now. resolutions often revolve around external markers of success. Losing weight, making more money, achieving a particular goal or task, but genuine change and self-improvement often come from internal growth and learning. Accepting the inevitability of failure encourages us to be more compassionate, kind, and understanding to ourselves and to others. And as that initial January exuberance begins to fade and the dreaded all or nothing type thinking comes creeping back in, let yourself fail. Fail with style, fail with exuberance, fail by trying. Approach change with curiosity and a willingness to adapt. Be open to the idea that change is a process and not the flip of a switch. And keep in mind that every day is a new opportunity to fail. Happy New Year, everyone.